I did not expect today to end with us being in so much trouble.
Yeah, at least we're in trouble together. You know, there is one last first day thing I wanted to do.
Uh-oh.
Final part of the video. I'm not gonna waste any more of your time and just head straight into it, as this will take the longest to finish. And now, please enjoy. When he sees Zoe, he laughs it off, as he is surprised to see the person is her, the girl who never take off her green jacket.
Take off my jacket.
And fuck off, please.
With Zoe's dad is outside preparing his gun, and aims it at a school shooter.
You can kill me just as easily right here.
Good question, Zoe. Let's see how Tristen will answer it.
I know, but that would be terrible for ratings, so come in.
Based on the fact that Tristen loves popularity, will do whatever it takes to gain views, only kill people who are personal to him. After finishing a conversation with them, makes sense that Tristen will not kill her right there. Pretty good reasoning. All aligned with his character. As Zoe is moving to the camera, Tristen brags about his accomplishment right there, and telling the audience that anything will happen. With Zoe's dad keep aiming at him, but because Tristen keeps moving, gives him a bit of a hard time. But one more thing, there are quite a lot of cars in front of it. Only place I can see you aiming from is here. How do you manage to aim from here when the only place you can do it is here, with quite a few things holding you back? You must be a very good sniper if that's the case. Tristen and Zoe are still having a conversation inside, as they talk about what they really want. Tristen wants fame and be the best version of something, but Zoe wants people, and herself included, to get out of here alive. It's a fine conflict build up from things before, that you've seen before already, and really nothing too special. Maybe except the part when she said,
Myself included.
Showing that she's not 100% completely selfless. Shows a bit more for her character, which is a line from before. Then Jelick finally steps in the conversation, as he is mad at Zoe for killing her sister. Well, she tried to kill me first, and it's your fault for starting this school shooting anyways. That is aligned with who she is before, willing to talk bad at other people, despite them trying to shut her down, and doesn't allow the bullies to harm innocent defenseless people. I know these two are more than just bullies, but they still harm innocent defenseless people, even if I'm still gonna talk, morons. A nice moment for Zoe. Then Tristen asks Zoe, did someone tell you about our plans? Or just right time, right place? Which Zoe answers, yeah, that's the later one.
Something like that.
Then Jelick leans on to Tristen. Please let me kill her, please. Leading to Tristen and Jelick arguing about it, with Zoe stepping back. As they finish dealing with that, they turn their head and saw Kip is there. Makes sense that he will be here at this time, as they are arguing with each other distracted from a conflict that is built up from before, and you can see a wall covering people from walking in. That provides more reason for Kip to turn against him. And it's not like that it's never been hinted before. And this is a school shooting, I understand why Tristen will still hire him. He needs as many people as possible in order for his plan to work. It's not like Tristen is a rich, evil crime lord who has a lot of money and people following him, so he really has to work with whatever he got. He tells them to drop the guns, and he responds with, you're gonna do more killing if that's the case, do you want to do more killing? As Zoe and Lewis turn their heads at each other, both start screaming at each other, and starts opening fire as well, giving Zoe and Lewis the opportunity to escape. But as for the end result of both shooters, Kip dies from getting shot, but Tristen also got shot as well. But not in any way fatal though. Yeah, that is just a shotgun bullet. Even after getting shot, I can't believe he will still survive and stand up afterwards. Because Zoe and Lewis runs away, Tristen immediately sends Jelick to chase after them, to kill both and get the phone back. Considering he loves fame, very understandable that he wants that back. And I also like everything before as well. Setting a conversation that you don't know what's gonna happen next, with them clashing and understanding more about each other. Despite Tristen is clearly crushing her down in this situation, she's still not afraid to stand against them, to show she has no fear fighting against them, and wanting to save everyone from them. Which elevates to an argument between Tristen and Jelick of what they are gonna do to them to increase more tension, making a distraction for a gun face-off finally, building up the stakes to the highest. And every moment of it, from the clashing ideas of each other, to the relationship conflicts, to the gun face-off at the end, are built up from things we established before, making it very thrilling to watch and listen.
I want this played at my funeral.
With everything being seen by Zoe's dad, as they are going upstairs right now, shown on the news for Tristen to see. But, is that really the best thing he should do right now? I understand why Tristen would send Jelick right here. He just got shot. Seeing Zoe and Lewis running away with the phone, it's absolutely an adrenaline-filled panic situation, which can cause people to not think of the best situation to do what they want to do. It is believable to send Jelick to get the phone back here. However, what is definitely unbelievable is Tristen's action afterwards. By that time later, he'll be calm and calculative, able to think of the best solution to deal with his current situation, which is to call Zoe again, pull a gun on the students, and threatens her to come back here. Exactly just like what you did before. I know you lost the camera for visual references, but she still has Anna's phone on her. Can still easily call her back. Sure, that might be your second time to do so, but Kip is dead. No way she can counter it again. And she even explained something for you.
People, myself included, not dying.
Makes it clear Zoe cares about everyone it needs. So doing the same thing as before can easily make her run back in and kill her right there. And that is aligned with the establishment of Tristen.
SWAT team's still 30 away. They were all the way up in York responding to a bullshit bomb threat somebody called in.
These jackals are 3 steps ahead of us.
But they have to cripple his intelligence right here, so that Zoe can run away. Fuck off, please. Zoe and Lewis runs away, going upstairs. Which, I can understand that. She has nothing on her hands right now. That she needs something for an advantage. With her knowledge of the school, and her constantly having science lesson, I can believe she will go upstairs and using it to fight. Of course she can't go to the police. Jelick would not follow her if that's the case. And consider she's been exposed that she can't save people in secret anymore, and has to confront them face to face. As they are running away, Lewis suddenly falls down, so he goes to check at him, revealing he got shot right here. Zoe immediately carries him and tells him to drop the phone, so Tristen won't be able to saw them. But Zoe's dad already knows where they are, and go and follow his daughter. With the last moment he saw, consider this is his daughter's school, he will most likely be inside here before. And this guy is a military man. Tracking them down, for him, it's pretty easy. Zoe brings Lewis inside the closest room, putting him in a sofa. Afterwards, Lewis wants to tell Zoe something, but she just said, "Tell me your prom." Proceed lean on a kiss. A good little moment. Build up from Lewis asking Zoe for prom, but she doesn't want to accept it, despite she loves him.
I like Lewis. I want to lead him on into hurting him.
He's just trying to make a memory with you, sweet.
All because she is suffering and can't let go of herself. Even push people away because of that.
And you're so guarded all the
Maybe
time.
there's a brochure you can hand me so I can go?
And she learns to develop over that in this movie, being more involved with people, open more about herself, to finally...
Yep. You are not the only good thing in my life. Oh, you're the best thing.
Lewis feels the same way and he thinks it's great, but he really has something he needs to tell her. He saw something in the fan. Homemade bomb, perhaps. And he thinks the fan is rigged to explode. Zoe then hears a noise. Lewis tells Zoe to stay here, but Zoe decided to go and deal with him. I like that small moment. Despite Zoe just showed her love to Lewis just moments before, she still prefers leaving other people and stopping the school shooters than to stay with his loved one. Willing to look at the bigger picture instead of just herself. Jelick saw the phone here and walked towards it. Zoe then appears behind him, turns around, shoots at her but misses every single shot, then chases after her. On the outside, Zoe's dad runs for a while, then he eventually stops as he saw something. Oh, it's Zoe! If you are confused how Zoe's dad found her, pay close attention. Zoe's dad has been tracking her on the phone the entire time. He knows Jelick is chasing after them. He knows her daughter went upstairs. I know they dropped the phone eventually, but he still got a general direction of where Zoe is already. Right around this area. On the second floor. Judging by the time Zoe gets to the science lab, it is easy for Zoe's dad to find her. Remember, Zoe's dad is a trained military man who can analyze small details and track down creatures in the middle of the forest. Finding Zoe isn't hard for him to do, especially this is his daughter's school. Moving on, Zoe turns on a gas in the science lab. Then she immediately hides. As Jelick walks in, she moves a bit inside so Jelick will have a harder time following her, and she picks up something. As Jelick looks around the lab, and talking about he has the advantage over her now. Then, Dad alerts Zoe's dad to prepare, and confirms his daughter is in fact in there. From the blurry image in this distance, getting endangered by the school shooter. Jelick starts losing it, and complaining about her killing his sister. As his schizophrenia starts taking over and he starts losing it, holding him back from searching for Zoe. Then Zoe throws something at the wall, distracting him, emerges from behind and throws chemicals at his eyes. She tries to run away afterwards, but Jelick catches up on her, overpowers Zoe, and tosses her away. I do like this overall. Seeing Zoe using her smarts to fight a man who is physically stronger than her is intense to watch. Especially, it is from things that I set up before, with Zoe having the knowledge of it, and having Zoe smart enough to lure Jelick inside the place. And Jelick slowly walking around to find his victims in small areas with a lot of objects. Also got established already, despite she still fell at the end. Even though I'm not sure what chemicals causes this to explode when it interacts with gas. I'm not a chemistry expert, so I don't know. Jelick walks back when Zoe is too weak to stand up. She saw him picking up a gun, walk and point towards her. Zoe immediately tries to manipulate his schizophrenia, and she can show him the way out. And he responds with, "That is exactly what they told me you would say," right before she's gonna die. Then, a sniper shot saves her. As Zoe looks outside to see, it's her dad. He fired a shot just in time to save her. Although, that's the wrong direction. And judging by where it shot, it should have gone here, and not here. Yeah, I know that's just a nitpick. And not big issues that cut the movie. As it is still the same person, using the same gun, in the same place, shooting the same bullet at the same target. But it's still funny to find out. The cops hear a gunshot and arrest Zoe's dad, with Zoe watching and feeling sad about it. This is good as well, as Zoe's dad wants to prove his love for her and wanting to help her, but hard to express it.
I think we need to see somebody again.
But Zoe refuses his love and keeps pushing him away.
And you're so guarded all the
Maybe
time.
there's a brochure you can hand me so I can go?
Only when her dad gets captured by saving her life, in this very intense scene, she finally realizes her dad cares for her. But she can't do anything but watch him sacrifice himself, turning himself to the cops. A heartbreaking moment from her. That is built from before.
I can't believe you did this for me.
After that, she goes and picks the pockets of Jelick. Right before Tristen answered the other side, she found Jelick's phone and the keys on him as her dead mom approaches her with a word in her ear.
Fight.
No conversation or response this time, as she knows what she needs to do next, without the need of her mom lecturing her. As Tristen is still waiting for a response, something is sent to his phone. And that is a dead photo of Jelick, recalling this line from him.
Pictures are worth 1,000 words, my darling.
What do you think? Worth 1,000 words?
Nice callback, showing his glory falls by his own medicine, showing his dead assets as they once towered Zoe before. Zoe then goes back to Lewis and put her jacket onto him, one that she's not willing to take off.
You? Green jacket girl? When's the last time you took that damn thing off?
The thing that she's holding on to, willing to put on to Lewis when he's in need, showing that she actually likes and wants to move on with him. Tristen gets on the fan and do something, as Zoe calls him and taunts the school shooter. She goes to the live streaming phone, saying she's assuming he's watching her stream. Then Tristen gets out and quickly goes and sees her stream. He says, "You have no idea who are you dealing with." She said, "You're right. With all your hard planning, they are not gonna remember you. They are gonna remember me." Which is absolutely correct. If you watch the news in real life, they are gonna mostly talk about the person who did all the good things, turning what he wants against him. What a symbiotic way to defeat the villain. Then Tristen goes to the back of his van and takes out a homemade bomb inside. After searching the crowd, he points the gun at one person, tells him to stand up, and tells every single person to look down. Then he leaves the room with that person, as he's holding the bomb. Then Zoe met the teacher again, as she's taking the last class away. Okay, she has 21 minutes to do all that. The entire high school, minus 2 classes. Well, 3 actually. 4 really, counting this. But the school is not that big anyways. And set in a small town in the middle of the woods. I can't believe she can get everyone out already. Then Zoe leaves to deal with something. As she keeps running, Tristen is just right at the side, and decided to chase after him. But she stops and decided to turn around, struggling and thinking, and decided to run the other direction instead. The direction of the hostages. That's a good character moment for her. Choosing to save the innocents when she holds the upper hand and can easily defeat him right here to save everyone in need for something else. That is very in character for her. So we get into a room and tells everyone to get out because he's gone. Then she opens the fan. They discover a timer with 45 seconds left. Wait. Who uses a phone as a timer of a bomb? Why do you even need that? She tells them there's a bomb on there and wants everyone to leave the room. And also tells some people to move the lunch desk so students can leave from here as well. When she thought everyone got away already, there are a few injured students who could not stand up. She runs onto the fan, stuck the car keys inside that she got from Jelick to turn on the fan. Then stuck the machine gun on the foot panel, closed the door, then pulled the lever, causing the fan to drive back, and explodes outside. Every step that is being done here is very well. Dealing with a situation that is being established using a reasonable way that is in character for both of them. With a character development of Zoe here, turning from shutting people down, doesn't want to face with people, to willing to open herself by showing herself on the camera, to cause Tristen to leave the room, so Zoe can deal with the bomb herself. With reasonable obstacles, that Zoe has defined a different way to overcome it, with things she got. Creating a tense, interesting sequence that no one can keep their eyes off.
Yes! Yes!
She said yes.
That explosion alerts the cops outside, and Zoe runs back into school afterwards. She is searching for Tristen, who got back inside with a gun. Wait, Zoe. You literally have 0 weapons on hand. How are you gonna face Tristen really? He can easily shoot you, and given he has no reasons not to now, unlike last time, so what are you really gonna do? Because I have no idea. Eventually the cops catch up with her, and she dropped herself on the ground right afterwards. Then the police walks towards her and trying to cuff her, and then something happens. Behind it is a dead body of Tristen, and he seems like he killed himself. I know, it is contrived the explosion happens right near her. But even if you cut that contrivance out, nothing really changes. The cops will still find this out in a different place, in the school, as the school is surrounded and he has no place to run outside, and without that moment for Zoe, she will still discover him later. With the same clothes, burned face, and a lot of smoke in the situation, not to mention the distance she saw, that went by really quick, it can misguide what she saw easily. This moment is just here to trick the audience, and it works wonders. Then the cops drop her to the ground again, and tie her hands up properly. A while later, a familiar voice appears behind her back. It is her mom, and she looks much more beautiful and hotter. She thanks Zoe for making her healthier, because Zoe is willing to live again.
Look at me now. That deep place inside of you, your will to live, is getting stronger. And it's letting me live again too.
And after a kiss in her forehead, she says she's gonna go. After saying goodbye to her daughter, she stands up and leaves. As for why,
He's free of all attachments now. Is that how you feel? Almost. I still got one person who's holding on. Someone who's not quite ready to release me just yet.
As she's crying seeing her leave, she's finally willing to move on from what's happening before, and going to face the now and move on. Even though doing that is still unwilling and sad. From a time to finally... After that sad and heartbreaking farewell scene with her mom, that completes her character arc finally. She is placed on a police van for the sheriff to come in. Because of her saving the students, the sheriff frees her hands so that her hands can move again, as he puts his hand in front of her so that he can shake Zoe, thanking her for what she did. He said the reason why they arrest her is because they don't know who you are. Really? She got filmed. Do you guys really don't know? They are too busy, or holding heavy weapons in case of anything, and not able to use the phone to see a live stream. I guess that makes sense, and anyone can be suspect in that situation anyway. Then he says that he thinks Tristen is dead because he gets burned. I don't know. Do they look that much alike? He live streamed his face already. Maybe wearing the same clothes and having a burned face really helps. I can somewhat believe that. Then she asks the sheriff for a favor. As she walks towards a police car, that her dad is in it, which they talk for 2 lines until they don't know how to respond to each other. Then Zoe said her mom will know how to respond to that, and Zoe's dad reveals that he talks to her sometimes as well. Then Zoe smiles and said, "It's creepy." Then he responds with a smirk and a head shake later, as he drops his eyes down. That's a nice little moment. A moment that develops their relationship after the dislike of each other in the beginning, with something they both care about. That links them closer to each other. Then Zoe says, "Thanks for saving my life." He responds with, "We are even, because you gave mine a purpose. Since 18 years ago." Yeah, I'm a sucker for a good father-daughter moment. And the moment grows both characters. Especially Zoe's time when he could not move on from the war.
Guys, if my unit had their look.
Not everything is about the war.
That is a very touching moment for the characters. Unfortunately, what happens later is a goddamn concern. But to be fair, when Zoe asks will Lewis be alright, it's a good reason for Zoe to turn around. That is in character for her, as she does care about Lewis. And that leads her to noticing a person walking away into the woods, using another person's clothes.
Isn't it a bit fucked up wearing his clothes?
I think the fucked up bit was murdering him.
This is where it starts falling apart. So many things to point out. So many holes. Let's start with the first one. "Hey police, why can't you see a student walking away?" He literally just goes,
"Nah, it'll be fine."
And there are so many areas you can just walk away from. But you just have to choose here for Zoe to see. This shot alone has 2 issues already.
For fuck's sake.
And it's only getting worse.
What did they do with your rifle?
Nothing yet. Last I saw it, there was some little yellow evidence markers around it.
That makes sense. Consider when we last saw it. That is surrounded by cops. Because Zoe's dad used it to kill someone. Of course they would take away the sniper rifle.
Should be right where I left it.
What? A weapon he clearly used in a crime scene. And you don't bother to deal with it? Put it behind yellow stripes. Take it away with a bag. Or just surround the goddamn weapon. Literally do anything. Then just leave it there.
Fuck off, please.
As Tristen is going into the woods, Zoe is chasing right behind him. I understand why is she capable of tracking him down. She learns hunting every day, going into the forest to track down animals, which is taught by her military dad to learn how to hunt them. Tracking Tristen down is very believable, but as for why she doesn't call any of the cops to chase after him, don't know. I understand why didn't she do that in school. Tristen is holding students hostage, and Zoe has to take the students out secretly. That cops will just cause way too much noises. That isn't what you want in a hostage situation. when he can easily hold people as leverage. But in here, he's literally trying to escape, with no people as leverage. And you have an injured leg. Seriously, just ask them to do it for you. And speaking of the injured leg, how is Zoe able to run to the back of her school to get the sniper rifle, running all the way back, carrying a heavy sniper rifle, all while able to stay behind Tristen when... Please tell me, how do you manage to do so? Because I have no idea. Moving on, Tristen walks under the bridge and grabs something. A box full of cash and fake IDs. That is a silver lining in this disaster of a scene. Tristen is a character who plans things steps ahead, counting on things to happen. Especially he counts things for 14 months already, portrayed as very intelligent. It makes sense that he has already planned an escape plan, inside a location no one would notice. Although, you just have one box for yourself to escape. But what about the others? You didn't plan for Zoe to be here. How are you gonna plan for them to escape if Zoe ain't here? But that is still just a minor problem. Then Zoe finds him. Find a place and aim a sniper rifle at him. And shoot at his heart. I already explained why she doesn't need to do that. Even if she really needs to. Why his heart? Why don't she shot his leg? Or his shoulder? No need to resort to kill. Either way can still neutralize him. And seriously, trying to kill someone when she has plenty of alternative methods to deal with him is out of character for her. As she didn't try to kill the other school shooter right here when she has a lot of chances. Trust me, it is getting worse. Zoe walks towards Tristen when he is lying on the river and repeat lines from her dad.
I was hoping we wouldn't have to deal with this scenario so early in our lesson.
But there's unfinished business to tend to.
Well, it's tempting to let nature run its course. Lungs will fill with blood.
And the animal will die naturally.
With that process comes extreme pain.
And it just isn't right to let it suffer.
Fuck me. Why do you have to pick up a rock again? Just use a sniper rifle. Stop smashing rocks. But this time around, she hits the water instead. Even though, when he's choking blood suffering.
What the fuck are you doing?
Then she says...
Or is it?
Oh my fucking god, that is completely out of character for you. Let me remind who you really are.
Most of these people are completely innocent.
Remember you actually show empathy for a school shooter and trust the school shooter in some degree to help save the people. But now you're willing to let him suffer.
Fuck off, please.
Then Zoe leaves Tristen here, walk back outside, and meet the sheriff again. I'm sorry, you should really get arrested right here. You literally commit a murder when you don't even need to. Maybe he really didn't die yet, and the cops are there to come rescue him. But do you also know, this is still attempted murder. And you can't excuse this as self-defense like before. You're there get arrested, but killing another shooter to save you. Why won't they do it again here? Ugh, fucking Christ. As the worst scene of the entire movie is finally over, you should have just cut the entire scene out and end the movie right here. And not add anything after this. But whatever, as the movie ends here. As the camera zooms out from the school and the crime scene at the end. We finished going through the entire movie. That part of the chapter is close and done. But there is still more chapters to go through. Granted, they are smaller chapters, but they still have to get open. To conclude how the plot really holds up. In the first 20 minutes, it's very great. You spend all those time with the main character, so you understand what she's dealing with, who she is, and the relationship she has with other people, causing conflicts later to happen, pushing things forward logically. Just you see how they can allow this thing to happen.
Why'd you have to do this right now? You were the only good thing, Lewis.
Don't lump me in with everyone else, all right? Don't shut down on me, too. I was just...
You think I'm shut down?
Yes, but like, it's not your fault. You just...
Jesus.
That prevents her to become a hostage from the incoming attack. But how? They foreshadowed Lewis' love to Zoe beforehand. until it got revealed completely. But Zoe's actions later? What an interesting response, right? But why does she act like that? That is that she's a broken person who is suffering trauma from the loss of her mom, really closing herself down, and doesn't respond well when someone tells her how fucked she is. So when Luke says,
Forget it. You're right.
I can't.
Like with your mom and everything, we should just.
This isn't about my mom.
it's reasonable she would got mad, causing panic for Luke to push things over, leading her away from the school shooting. Every step is logical and in character because of how well things are set up beforehand. And there's more to just that. It sets up events that will play a part later, that will explain a lot of plot points and plot holes. To further illustrate my point, why can't anyone in the school hear the gunshots?
We'll see all kinds of dumb stuff today.
What do you mean?
When Zoe sets off a fire alarm, why hasn't it alerted any fire apartments?
We got another one. Cross town.
All right. Let's splinter that truck off, send it on over.
When the students' parents decided to call the cops, why didn't the police respond sooner?
Let the sheriff know we've got the residents of a homemade bomb here. If somebody wanted to keep us busy and clog the roads.
Okay, but why is there no enough authorities inside? Visual evidence is that there's a ton of place used to hunting, and lots of open areas with nothing but trees. Also,
Vernon Central High School, how may I help you?
Sounds like I'm pulling rank on you. It's because I am. Now, Vernon is your town, but it's my county, okay? Now, Vernon is your town, but it's my county, okay? Now, Vernon is your town, but it's...
Now, that is all excellent. But then, the 20 marks later, the issues are starting. Just how it begins already has a few of them. I understand why people won't react to gunshots, but a fan crashing in? Sorry, but I do not believe there's a prank like this. Even with this line.
Someone with a tiny car will try to park it inside the lobby.
That doesn't mean crashing through the glass as well. Then some dumb thing has to happen just to allow Zoe to escape, creating holes in the spots. And occasional dumb decision making. But we still got smart and logical character decisions inside, plenty of them. Like Zoe decided to get the students out of the school, instead of running there to fight them. School shooters decided to blow up the office that they planned inside, to offer announcements, to keep the people inside. And the school tried to reason with them, by showing he means no harm, and offers everything he has to save the students. Along with some very good character moments inside. But yeah, a lot of things has to be dealt with in order for things to be utterly functionable. Like once I check it, I don't know, I lost count. So we should absolutely find a gun here. A weapon she can use to face the school shooters. A weapon a cop absolutely must have, but I missed that in part 1 until it was too late. So yeah, but on the bright side, then another 20 minutes later, it's getting better again. To be clear, there are still issues with the script this and there, but things are getting more and more logical. Driven by cause and effects, while having some of the best scenes inside the movie, driven by strong moments of character, that you understand them even more, and get invested when they do something.
You look beautiful. I know. Feels good. Thank you.
What have you done, Schmidt?
With that process lasts for a very long time. Around about an hour in the movie. That sounds very good, right? Right? Well, if only they can extend 5 more minutes. I have a look into his eyes and seriously ask him straightforward. Just look at the ending you just wrote. Why do you think it's necessary to add that part, when it is well-rounded and bittersweet enough to just end it right here? But you just have to put more things in here. And they are not even quality materials. And why? Cause dear god, the entire ending is a disaster. The 5 minutes of the entire ending, somehow, like seriously, When I actually calculate all the problems in the ending, out of every possible odds, miraculously, it somehow, in some way, has more issues than the last hour of the entire movie combined. The issues I got in the last hour, some are honestly pretty dumb. It's only just sprinkled in, with lots of good moments in the middle. Unlike the ending, all issues are stacked on top of each other, with barely any silver linings in the center. All it does is makes me go,
What? Or is it?
What?
yeah, I'm bitching that shit for a while. This moment will never stop making my blood boil. I would not be so mad if not things beforehand are just well done, mostly. But despite that ending I just chopped apart, the entire plot as a whole, yeah, it's still pretty good overall. Well, yes, we got bad moments in the plot, and yes, we got bad scenes in the movie, but those things are sandwiched between everything else. The good moments and good scenes in the movie. With only the 20 and 40 minute mark, I suggest you do a few more rewrites, and the entire 5-minute ending. I'll go through a bit more of the character part later, but right now, yeah, just remove it please. So that's the plot. What do I think about the other aspects of the movie? Those aspects of the script includes tone, pacing, and dialogues. Those aspects of the script is not as important as plot and character, which I will talk about later after this. But those things are still worth noting, starting things off with the tone. And they done very well with that. When the situation is dreadful, they kept it really consistently, without giving you a moment to breathe out. Making you very fearful of the situation, hoping something just suddenly don't just come out, to make things worse for the characters. And when they decide to change tones, if they decide to change and add tones, they will let you know first. Like when they decided to add sadness in this bathroom scene, right between the school shooters attacking, they will give you time to know that first. Having enough time for you to process what's happening, so you will understand what tone is added in. Or this kitchen scene, where she narrowly escaped from being killed, turning from fearful to fearless. On that case, the script has 30 seconds of breathing time for you to understand that. All written on Zoe's face of her turning process, starting from afraid and unwilling, slowly turning her body around despite showing a bit of fear still, keep breathing and keep shaking despite she's already around. Then when she turned her eyes and look, have a bit of courage to open her mouth already, to finally decided to save the other students. Every single detail is written precisely for the change in tone. Understand why she's finally willing to do that. And she's not running back in and trying to fight them herself. She is just trying to save the people from outside going back in. Not something as hefty as going back in and try to kill them. Instead, a situation that makes sense. Maybe besides the car scene, Zoe turned from moody to a sudden laughter with her friend, with a joke that is,
I engaged.
yeah. It's the only thing I find that tone isn't done very well. But for everything else, it is fucking great. Okay, to illustrate what's a terrible flip in tone, let's talk about Doctor Who. Consider the new series is here, and current Doctor Who? Fuck you. But the thing is, I really like how New Who started. But when did I start disliking the show? It's in the last episode of Russell T Davies' era. When the Doctor is about to die, he says his final goodbye to all his companions, because he knows that he's not gonna meet them again, as he goes inside the TARDIS to die alone, with very sad music playing in the background.
This song is ending, but the story never ends.
Man, that line is just beautiful, as you know the Doctor will die, as his life during that ended right here. But he still have another life to explore more places. But he'll become another person, who is not like his previous life.
Even if I change, it feels like dying. Everything I am dies. Some new man goes sauntering away. And I'm dead.
As he's about to die, he says one more thing.
I don't want to go.
Man, wow. That moment just hits me hard. We know the Doctor doesn't really want to die. He loves adventures, wanting to do a lot more things.
I could do so much more. So much more. But this is what I get. My reward. But it's not fair!
But he still ends up choosing to sacrifice himself to save his friend, leaving everyone behind to die alone. That is just heartbreaking, as he carries that when he regenerates. And then...
I'm a girl! No! No! I'm not a girl! No. I'm still not Ginger!
Are you kidding me? Why is he suddenly so exciting? Yeah, his personality is completely changed, but his feelings is still there. A thing that should stay. What makes things even worse? The Doctor is gonna die alone, after saying farewell to people who he knows, and he knows that he will never see them again. Now he's suddenly cheering, and goes... And that just happened without any briefing time indicating that it will be cheery. I haven't even mentioned Todd is literally on fire. Oh fucking Christ this. After Russell T Davies left, we are dealing with incompetent writing in Moffat's era. Do I even need to mention Chibnall?
Now that's what I call an inner conflict.
Just go watch JXC's video about it. And Russell T Davies, please, save the show.
You're my only hope.
I'm getting off topic already. I just have too much to talk about Doctor Who. The point is, the tone is done well in run-high fights. And this scene in Doctor Who is a bad example. Then it's the pacing. It's also done pretty well, but not much to talk about in here. Whenever there's an action scene, there is a downer time, character moments, building up tension, and building up suspense. They all balance each other very well, and the scenes doesn't feel too long or too short, or overblown with action. Unlike most action movies nowadays, things are done pretty solid, except this part throwing a final confrontation out of nowhere, when they can just end perfectly before. But really, other than that, the pacing is actually well done. Now, the dialogue writing. That is the part I have issues with. I will say this. The dialogue genuinely gets better as the movie goes on, and sometimes those dialogues makes me feel genuinely for a situation. Especially it gets less dialogue as it goes on, plot without exposition telling you, giving trust to audience to let them understand themselves, so they can sit back and enjoy the rides, and showing what the characters feel, without any lies telling you, so you can let those moments sink in, process those moments yourself, so those moments will strike you harder even more. But unfortunately, those things get better as it moves along, as everything prior to that really needs to be better. Well, yeah, consider what they say.
You're so... not. Perhaps that was premature. Perhaps it was.
You want to talk pain? Breastfeeding
Mom.
you was it was a nightmare.
You sure that doesn't sound like something from a comedy?
I am the smartest one in this whole group, and all I've been used for is bait and distraction. Go on your stupid mission. I hope it sucks.
What did she say? I don't know. All I heard was suck.
2, 3 strikes!
Time out!
I know. I'm still singing 2 songs, right?
There's a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde situation going on.
Man, I paid good money to that guy, too.
I finally, for the first time, and I know this sounds crazy, but I can see the stars.
Would you like to take my bra off, or should I?
See, I feel excited to take your bra off.
So do it.
I love your breasts. Just mixing it up with those 2 things. I'm not even nervous to do it.
So do it. Breastfeeding Mom was it was a nightmare.
I mean, I understand why those lines are so awkward, based on who they are and the situation, but it doesn't change the fact sometimes it's hard to listen to, and sometimes some really heavy-handed character description.
And honey, you're so angry.
Listen, I know you've been going through a lot, but maybe getting involved again could feel good. Because you're smart and safe?
Yeah,
and not a total asshole?
We got those later anyway. Why do we even need those? Talking about trusting the audience. Well, it did eventually get better, but things beforehand. So what about the other categories? Oh yeah, the characters. One of the most important aspects in movies. Now, let's break it all down and analyze them. Let's start with the main character of the story.
Zoe.
Now that is a strong start. A skillful main protagonist who's a bit violent, broken and still shaking from her actions, has mental illness, struggles to move on from the past, angry, guarded and shut down, but still show empathy for other beings. The fan notices when she herself is also in a disadvantage, not afraid to fight back.
I mean, none of this ever had to happen.
Just the first 2 minutes alone tells us a lot about her. She's trained by her father with specific skills. Let us understand what she can do in a combat situation. She is able to track things down, understand how to use a firearm, even counter it when someone is using it. Being stealthy enough to not let anything detect her. With the spark to hunt and find the deer before sunrise. But she doesn't have much physical strength for that. And those are still just her skill sets. When she's in an active combat situation. As for her character traits, we know she's a bit violent beforehand, willing to do things that is not civilized. But in this scene later, after what her dad told her,
Lungs will fill with blood. The animal will die a natural death. But with that process comes extreme pain. This isn't right to let an animal suffer forever.
She is hardcore and violent, but still show empathy for other people. Not to mention showcasing the fact that she's not mentally very stable. And they show that through her scenes, instead of blatantly telling us. Mostly.
You're cutting yourself off from everything you care about.
Thanks for telling me that, but I can get that in scenes later on. Like right here. But the beginning of the hunting scene achieved, all done in just 2 minutes, laying the foundation of her character very well. And the entire movie makes it very consistent. Most of it, sorry. Don't forget her arc as well. Turning from shutting down.
And you're so guarded all the
Maybe
time.
there's a brochure you can hand me so I can go?
Also afraid to express her feelings.
I like Lewis. I want to lead him on into hurting him.
He's just trying to make a memory with you, sweetie.
It's not until this event happens, allowing her to open up right again. Because witnessing the tragedy of a situation, leading her actively wanting to save people. As she keeps opening herself even more in the journey, let's rely on her imaginary mother to help her.
This girl, Amy Kim, died in my arms on a bathroom floor today. And all I know about her is that she liked horses. On these little ribbons. For jumping them.
That deep place inside of you, your will to live, is getting stronger. And it's letting me live again, too.
Complete her arc at the end by opening up to people and Lewis.
Okay, just tell me at prom.
Yep.
And let go of her dead mom and move on from here.
It's this way. I still talk to her sometimes.
It's creepy.
The execution is just stellar. What they did to Zoe is just a wonderful achievement. Aside from the last sequence. Holy shit. This is not in character. How is he that cruel to Tristen when she takes one before hostage without resorting to killing? And have a conversation with him trying to help him. Even give him a chance to do something good later. Also to jog people's memories. Do you remember the scenes of Zoe caring about human life?
Go as fast as you can, go! Nice! You're coming, aren't you? Everyone's still in lockdown. I'm gonna try to warn as many as I can, okay?
Do you want more people to die? Is that why you did this?
No, that's the last thing I want.
All right.
And what does?
People, myself included, not dying.
Yeah, fuck that here.
Or is it?
Yes! Even with this line.
Kip?
Alive. Wishing he were dead.
He's a school shooter. Anyone would want him dead. As for Anna's kill, that's self-defense, she has no choice. From a goddamn sneak attack. As for here, the cops are just right here, just call them for help. Even if you argue for character development, her arc ended right here already. When she let go of her mom. We even got what she's like after her arc is finished. So false as well. Despite that scene is confusing to sit through, everything before about Zoe is a gem. But hold on before I move to the next character. There is a rather interesting thing people said about Zoe. Apparently, Zoe is a fucking Mary Sue.
What? You can't marry Sue!
Oh, Mary Sue's. I hate you so much. Overpowered characters who fails upward at best with little to no personality. Who also got sent by everyone around them. Also bitch them around.
Mary Sue, aren't you a lucky girl? You really impressed the Stallions.
But Zoe just isn't one. Let me strip apart to tell you why. She's not overpowered. Everything she does in the movie is using what she already set up. Tracking, understanding firearms, stealth, and using the environment, intellect, or the things she knows to do. And that is because she is trained by her military father.
That look in your eyes. Guys at my unit had that look.
Not everything is about the war.
To hunt inside the woods. It is logical for her to understand how to do all those, using it to fight her enemies. And she lost to something that is outside her realm, like brute force, and sneaky enemies that can surprise attack. If she's not safe by other things, she will be dead already. Okay, does she have any character trait or things to overcome? Well, yes. She is stuck to a past and keeps seeing things, affecting her in real life that people calling her out, leading to a few conflicts in the movie.
Take off my jacket. You go out into the world without that jacket.
God, and the even stupider torrent of promposals.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like... Don't shut down on me, too. I was just...
You think I'm shut down?
No. Yes, but like...
Then she has to learn to overcome, accept, and move on from it. So not even that as well. Then okay... Is she very likable for people? That other character immediately loves her for no reason? No. The film shows her arguing with his dad, and shows him in the right instead of Zoe. Sure, there are people who like her, but those are people who has established relationship with her. There's Lewis who likes her, but Zoe rejecting him is portrayed as her own issue, and they still call her out.
Just don't like seeing a bright young woman who used to love my class fade into the background. You think I'm shut down?
No. Yes.
And the villains aren't that much caring about her, as everything they want is just getting more noticed.
Are we famous yet?
I know the villain want to meet her at the end, but that's because she's foiling his plan, that he can stop her and use her to gain more views. Even when they escape, his priority is to get back his phone, and also kill them, but that's like, duh. So, no as well. So, does she fail award?
Fuck off, please.
When she's arguing with a bully, it results of her being pushed away, subtly making a conflict happen.
God, and the even stupider torrent of promposals.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like...
Sure, they saw the school shooter doing things, but they left afterwards, and that event has no relevance to them, as they didn't even do anything even after seeing that. She also failed to escape, that the lunch lady had to save her, that she got killed later, just to protect Zoe. Then she failed to make an announcement. Almost died because of her rushing into action too quickly. Sure, she got handcuffs and a phone to help her later, even though it is unnecessary if she successfully made an announcement. Got her arm stabbed on by a school shooter, and almost got revealed to be alive. If not, something else save her. If not, she wanted to open up herself, to save others quickly, to process things better. Which also... that is the result! A calm and sneaky opponent will notice you, might have also killed you. If you're not saved by other things. Again. Not to mention, your leg got shot. I'm not even done yet. There's her plan of facing the school shooter one-on-one. Not only her plan fails, it also caused Kip to die, who just decided to help fight the other two school shooters, also resulting on Lewis accidentally got shot. Thanks to your plan, Zoe. Then finally, when she lost a fight to Jelick, because things doesn't go as she plans, from a physically stronger opponent, and a damage to the leg, her dad has to save her. That leads to a sad moment later, resulting him getting captured, leading to Zoe finally accepting her father. From all of those examples, she doesn't fail upward, so I don't understand why people say Zoe is a Mary Sue. Did people confuse her with Ray?
And I... I'm all the Jedi.
What? And to reveal the fact, I think Zoe is a great character, and almost every moment I saw her in the movie...
Okay, let it out.
Zoe is cleared. Let me see who are the other people on the list. From the supporting cast of her protagonist side, we got her dad, and his name is...
want to be bigger,
Todd.
and they want to be badder.
Oh yeah, Todd. God, I have to go back inside and check the name. Not that they made his name important. Delivered by a guest character. In a confusing time they don't know what to do. But that is just his name. What about his character? In his introduction scene, not only he's a retired soldier and the father of Zoe, he also cares about her. Despite knowing her mental issues, he doesn't know how to express and help her exactly. He is a tough dad, but deep down, he cares about her. Evidence as he's listening to the radio.
There are multiple confirmed reports of an active shooting situation. We know that hostages are being held.
Got his weapon. Going to a crime scene to find his daughter.
She saved us. She was even outside at one point, but she went back inside to help.
Ma'am.
When he saw his daughter being threatened by a school shooter, he grabbed his rifle to help her. Even ended up getting captured, just to save his daughter's life. And she only figured that out about her father afterwards. Even having a resolution together about that at the end. That growth together is something I love to watch and see. A development of a father-daughter relationship. That aspect is marvelous. Done very well by the writers. But there is still another thing.
Or even, you gave mine a purpose. 18 years ago.
On its own, that scene is nice and all. It's just isn't developed from anywhere. Todd's screen time is limited. Between his intro scene and his second appearance, it's well over 15 minutes apart. Not enough time to set up everything. That's why when this moment came, it is weird to think about where that came from. But that is still just one small line. For his character, despite it's a lot of payoff without setup, still a pretty good character in the movie. But you can still do more with him. So who's next? Lewis! Zoe's best friend, turned love interest. As for how he starts, he is a bit dorky and awkward as he starts out.
With your dad, I totally saved you intentionally.
You intentionally saved me?
But doesn't show much fear when someone is attacking him. Also shows that he loves Zoe.
God, and the even stupider torrent of promposals.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like...
Also one more thing.
Because you're smart and safe?
Yeah,
and
well...
not a total asshole?
I hate that about me.
Okay, this. Remind me of how to write character traits. You just say point blank to the audience apparently. Zoe's intro has the same thing, but the point blank telling people also shows Todd but doesn't know how to express it. Leading to Zoe accept and understand that at the end. That we just talked about it beforehand. But there is nothing in here. What's worse is that being shown later on, or being mentioned in an indirect way, so we don't even need that. Now, what about him later on? His love for Zoe caused her to move to a bathroom. Makes sense in that case. He is chosen as a cameraman for Tristen, because of the amount of live streaming views he's got. Understandable?
Lockers by the yearbook office, and I need your eye for some new layouts. I'm a person when I'm in pictures, even though I'm actually really small.
What makes you so popular?
I'm not.
He does the yearbook. Ah, the geeky newsboy.
He distracts Tristen with live feature comments, which I can believe that. He is being established to be smart beforehand. Then he tells Zoe there are bombs on Tristen's fan, as he saw it himself, right after Zoe confessed her love for him. So overall what he did, it makes sense for him. And this moment to store Tristen, that is not too impactful, but he didn't really do much things himself. Besides this moment I can cite, he's kinda passive. He is mostly holding a phone to film things the entire time, and being removed from the climax. Only appear again in a blink or you miss scene of him putting into an ambulance. As a character he's fine in the movie, but given the amount of screen time he has, and his connection to Zoe, he is being underused. Who do we also got? Zoe's mom, played by Rhoda Mitchell, which I only seen her in Man on Fire. As for a character's name, hold on, so let me search around for it. Okay, according to this... I'm back, I got the name. Jennifer Hull. Got it from IMDb. Seriously, they never mention her name in the movie. But what about her? Jennifer is a manifestation of Zoe's memory because of her passing away, which Zoe could not let go of her. But we don't know how she passed away. But judging from her looks, it's something like cancer. Jennifer is here to give advice to Zoe, even help her in some situations. Also, excuse for expositions. For Zoe to share.
I like Lewis. I want to lead him on into hurting him.
He's just trying to make a memory with you, sweetie. I'm a quick study. You got that from me. Yeah? Going through people's pockets, that you got from your dad. But how many times have I died in your mind since then? How often do you think of that day?
Well, to be absolutely true about Jennifer, even if you wish, you won't give a damn about her character. She is still just a figment of Zoe's imagination. Anything you care about her is transferred to Zoe. She's a thing Zoe has to learn to overcome. Something to similar Zoe is getting better for herself, as she is getting heavier as the movie goes on. For Zoe to move on from her mom. So yeah, as a character that supports Zoe, she's not bad, adding something for Zoe to overcome. But with just Jennifer on her own, you just won't give a damn about her. Now, the last person in the protagonist's side, the sheriff. I'm not gonna bother with names again. His name is not in the movie. I'll just call him the sheriff, like how the character inside the movie calls him.
Sheriff!
You first saw him in a crime scene, from a fire created by school shooters with their homemade bombs. He's an experienced sheriff who understands what to do in an emergency situation without having his emotion getting the better of him.
I know you're not afraid to go in. I want to go in. But it's more of a hostage situation than an active shooter. Then we contain, negotiate, and wait for the lead team if all else fails. You, Tommy, I know your nephew's in there, but if you half-ass an entry team, you're going to get everybody killed.
His role is to contain people from the outside and find ways to help the situation. Find ways to infiltrate the school shooters. But the school shooters are always one step ahead of him.
Yeah, somebody wanted to keep us busy and clog the roads.
SWAT team's still 30 away. They were all the way up in York responding to a bullshit bomb threat somebody called in.
These jackals were 3 steps ahead of us.
Got eyes on her. Miss Boy. She ain't gonna be helping you talk to her son.
But it also makes sense in a way. He follows police protocols. Tristen has been planning for it.
14 months or so to really make it sing. Between, researching the blueprints of the building, gathering the tech, weaponry, etc.
And based on his cautious values, it is understandable why he doesn't go in again after this incident. Not to mention all the people inside might get killed.
Professional.
Despite he is consistent in that regard, in terms of having more layers to him, yeah, barely any. In the phone call scene with Tristen, that he decided to use in order to distract Tristen, smart move. Most of the characterization is focused on Tristen, but none for the sheriff. Until we got...
How can we get everyone out of that room
safely, including yourself?
That is something a bit more we got from the sheriff. That he cares about everyone just as much. No matter who they are, he doesn't want them to die. We did got something about him finally. Until...
Burned to a crisp. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Well, almost anyone.
Those two things doesn't match together. Just why? In terms of character consistency, in terms of what he is and what he can do, he's pretty good in that regard. But in terms of characterization as the movie goes on,
do better.
All the characters in this side are done. Now, the opposite side. Let's start off with the main leader of the school shooters, Tristen Foy. He is portrayed as smart, threatening, calm, calculative, brutal, and has a bit of charisma. Definitely a challenging opponent for Zoe to face, and has outsmarted her in the movie. Aside from a few dumb decision making, he is consistent in those aspects. The only 2 times he's not being too calm, starts to lose his shit a bit, or in areas he can't control, and calculate, thanks to Zoe. Makes sense for him. Another thing about him, he loves fame and seek for attention.
To pull out whichever app you use to do live streaming video. Instagram, Facebook, Periscope, it does not matter to me, all right? Just get them up and running and point it at me. Now!
They're about to air the live stream.
Hot dog.
We're the #1 trending topic online.
About damn time.
If you're wondering why Tristen is saying those lines...
Trigger warning.
It's not that hard to build a wall. You heard of Operation T4? Hitler ordered mercy killings on the disabled because he didn't want their deformities to infect the master race. As we dismantle a bastion of our society in favor of entropy and truth.
Never, ever let it be said that playing video games leads to real-life violence.
Those are just things in character for him, ways to get more attention. Instead of controversy, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. Therefore, at the end, when he's defeated in a way that no one will remember him, it is satisfying to see his defeat like this. Especially his seeking attention is how Zoe defeated him, and missed the chance to just kill her right there.
You can kill me just as easily right here.
I know, but that would be terrible for ratings, so come in.
Aside from him wanting attention and being smart, then not even the cops and police can handle him. The movie also gave us something more about Tristen. Well, at least they tried.
You know, normally you call me faggot when I see you in the halls. It's kind of our thing. Who's the fag now, man? While you were looking out the window talking about how guys like me, we never amount to anything, you remember that? I hope she's still watching. I think if she watches all the way through, she'll finally be proud. You know, behind your desk, you have this poster, and it says, "Making a difference, one student at a time." He didn't make time for me. Everybody jumps at the chance to be both judge and jury, but in that system, Sheriff, you created an executioner. You created me.
Those are stuff that will definitely add more depth for the main villain. Unfortunately, he doesn't really go beyond that. Sure, those are the reasons he wants to take over the school, but you still won't get behind his character much. His actions is not really built upon those. What he wants from here is not to take revenge. It's fame and want people to remember him, which is not explained as well. Like he takes time to taunt the person who bullies him, but after his goons shoot him, he just like...
We need to keep our eyes on the prize. Okay, we don't have time for small kills, please.
So you're just telling me that those are not really as important as getting attention. And all his explanation on that part is, I want fame. I want people to remember me. For my mom to be proud of me, I guess. Another pretty fake reasoning. Fixing something like this is not even hard. Just have his motive be personal and about taking revenge or something. That's why you want to film that to the entire world. And for this hostage. Pretty simple fix, right? A way to make us understand and care about him much more. But that is not what we have. As a threat to Zoe, and to provide an actual challenge for her to grow. Love him and he's great in that regard. But as a person we can get behind, just needs some fixing. Now for the next school shooter. Kip! He's one of Tristan's crew, who turned against him at the end. That is foreshadowed in here, as he saw Amy Kim's dead body, even said by Tristan himself.
Kipper. You didn't have the stomach for it after all.
And he isn't established to be too good at what he's doing.
Icon.
Compared to the other school shooters. Believable, that's how we can defeat him casually. And why would he lose the shootout at the end? The conversation he has with Zoe is genuinely great. You get to understand his motivation, how bullying makes him a school shooter. Compelling stuff right there. That leads to Zoe proving him wrong. And he thinks about it for a while. After some time later, he might not fully trust Zoe, but still willing to help. You have so many things you can explore about him. It's wonderful what you gave to him, but just... he follows Zoe's plan, only saving Zoe and Lewis, and dies. No mention of what he did afterwards. Still a job, people. I mean, what he's being used for isn't bad, but there's more you can do for his redemption, instead of offing him after one scene. Now, let's move on. Only 2 characters remain to break down. Pretty minor, really. First, Anna. For her character traits, she is very ruthless. Also, she's a bitch and look down on people.
Hey, you do something up here? Hey, you got studs on, girlfriend!
This is for stealing all my weed.
Go fuck yourself.
And not much really. She has a relationship with Tristen that only affects her brother. She's good at doing her job. She's a threat to Zoe because of her cunning. And that's it. She serves her purpose, to be a threat in the situation. I'm fine, she's just a side character who isn't given much, doesn't need to be too deep. She's a threat in the situation well enough. Competent of what she's doing. Only lost because of her confidence. And her thinking she's above her, which is neat and, next, Chris Jelick, the final character on the list. I mean, he is given a bit more than his sister. Same as her, he is ruthless, physically much stronger than Zoe, to be an intimidating opponent. He's also an ex-love interest of Tristen, who leaves him for his sister, which is also why he can hold him down, for the understanding of him.
I'm here in the chorus again. They found me here somehow.
You know they're not real, right, buddy?
And what is more for him? Oh yeah, he is schizophrenic, and can easily burst into violence. But he is still controlling himself. and the talk can calm him down in misdirection, which is also what Zoe did to stall him.
It was the symbols! It's how I changed the pattern!
Oh, yeah?
I can show you the way out.
That is a neat payoff at the end, but also reasons for being dumb, which to be fair is logical. But you just can't excuse everything with that, especially if it's way too dumb. Just use that door to get in before. But there is still one more thing. He wants to take revenge of Zoe, because she murdered his sister. I mean, they didn't make a big deal out of it.
You kill my sister.
She was trying to kill me.
It has to die now, Tristen.
I
You
will
have to
tell
let me
you
kill
when
it.
it's the right.
But the payoff at the very end.
Killing my sister was new. How'd you break that pattern, huh?
That's it. What a fucking missed opportunity. Why he wanna kill Zoe, it's barely about revenge. I mean, it is at first, but then it's just like, I have schizophrenia, I wanna kill you, ha ha ha. Fuck you. I mean, that part is paid off well at the end, but you can still achieve the best of both worlds. For him to keep mentioning about his sister, and why Zoe's manipulation doesn't work. It is just that simple. So to summarize all the characters, really besides Zoe, they still have potential they can explore. Some are still pretty good despite that, and they aren't bad per se. It's just, there are still more you can do with them. We finally broke down everything beforehand. Now, let me tell you why I spent 2.5 hours to this point to talk about this movie. It's how are the movies and shows nowadays, and how you should judge a movie. And then it's not themes. Hearing that's how people judge movies just gave me headaches. Seriously, how many negative reviews are just because of that?
I actually feel the exact opposite.
Let's listen to the people who made this film has to say about the politics and themes inside the movie.
First question, if I can toss it over to Dallas. Somebody wants to know if this film was meant to carry a conservative message from the start, or did the storyline and messaging just kind of happen naturally? And maybe Kyle could, give feedback on that too, since he's the guy that wrote the script.
Sure. I am a proud, openly conservative movie producer, and I never intended to be that vocal about it, but such is life, and I'm enjoying the ride. I never would make a movie for political purposes. I feel like movies have been political for generations, but I feel like when things get overtly political or agenda pushing, I tend to believe that it hurts the artwork. So again, my goal is to keep everything level playing field, focus on the movie itself, make great entertainment. If the audience,
not propaganda.
Yeah, there's no propaganda in the movie. There was never. Our intention was to make a great movie, and that's what we did.
Oh, so there is no political message inside the movie. So why did people write those things down? Is that just because of the company who distributed it? Yeah, that's only what they did. Or are actual valid criticisms? Let's test that, shall we? Firstly, it spreads violence and teenage school shooting, despite it showing how horrifying the situation is, and show how big of a shithead they are. Even when Zoe beats them, it is not portrayed in a victorious manner. It is portrayed as disgust when someone got killed. If someone saw this and still want to be violent, despite how they picture the situation, that person has to go and see the doctor right now. If you think this is too bloody, did you know this movie is R-rated?
I mean, this is an R-rated film. It's got cursing. It's got violence. I mean, so be forewarned, if you're sitting there with your 11-year-old, this is not appropriate for your 11-year-old.
This is like the same thing I heard from Joker. It promotes violence and other dangerous ideas. Yeah, this movie is R-rated, and didn't specifically tell you to root for his actions. Oh yeah, this is a great movie, by the way. And side note, do you remember Frozen 2? There's a machete brought at the end after the screening of Frozen 2. Are you saying this movie also spreads violence? Man, I can't imagine how horrifying that movie is. We really did live in a society. Back to Run High Fight. Another thing that people say is, this is a pro-gun movie. Remind me of this. How many times the main character used a gun to shoot the school shooters? Let's count. Wow, only just 3 times. And the context of all of them, this is self-defense, and she's just trying to survive. And that is her only option. If her only option is just a knife, she's gonna use it anyways to kill her enemy, given the circumstance she's in. And for the next one, he's trying to save his daughter. Not because he really wants to shoot people with a gun. Not to mention he got arrested afterwards, because he opened fire. As for the last one, that one really seems like it. Until you realize the foundation of how this thing even works is contrived as hell, crumbling the message, if there actually is one. And this thing is more focused on other stuff than just shooting him. As this is about overcoming her get that thing away from my face. I don't want to see it again. But let's just assume all three doesn't have any context behind them. I asked people who said this movie is pro-gun. Do you think the John Wick franchise is pro-gun? It does have a lot of this. Consistent with your standards. But I mean, when Hi-Fi does have a pro-gun line, that counts, right?
As if it's not sad enough that they're only paying him $12 an hour to protect our school, they expect you to do it without a fucking gun?
We'll also talk about that soon. But for now, so as John Wick.
What do you need? Guns. Lots of guns.
Be consistent. Consider there are a lot more things people said, and I can't cover all of them. So let's just do one more. It will inspire people to use social media to do stupid things. Because the main bad guy used that for attention, and to spread political bullshit. Even though that is incredible for him to use that for attention, and he is treated as a complete bad guy in the movie, you shouldn't be listening to him. Like this.
As if it's not sad enough that they're only paying him $12 an hour to protect our school, they expect you to do it without a fucking gun?
That is filmed in front of a bunch of cameras to explain something for the plot from things that is established.
Okay, so while we wait for this ill-advised step,
and not because of politics. As for social media stuff,
you all post and you tweet and you share. Everybody jumps at the chance to be both judge and jury.
I mean, he does love the attention.
We're the #1 trending topic online.
About damn time.
But let's pay attention to what has happened at the end.
And after all your goddamn hard work, people aren't gonna remember you. They're gonna remember me.
That's not how you gain attention. The movie never thinks that is right. If you think that is how it's written, fuck you. Obviously, there's a lot more things they say, but you get the idea. The writer even addressed how people will react to that already. Let me point out what he said.
If the marketplace or the audience determines that the movie is more conservative in its values or matrix, or DNA, then so be it. That's fine with me. But it's not a goal of mine to make conservative movies per se.
So much as to be a conservative filmmaker.
I am who I am.
Yeah.
They are nice to people who fall off that, but I'm not. I love to splat away those retarded arguments, as those are not valid criticisms. Not only what you think they say are wrong, even if I assume you think they are right, guess what? It doesn't matter. Themes doesn't affect the plot, character, pace. They are just messages you got out from it. Doesn't affect anything in the story. I hope people actually know that. Unless the writer put the themes above the story, which is a different type of disaster, which Run Hi-Fi isn't one of it. But anyway, do you know what message I took out from the movie? There's always humanity even in the darkest of times. People willing to sacrifice themselves for the other person. Willing to maintain their own beliefs, standing up against people above them. To comfort you, provide anything they can to help, and to inspire others to do the same. That is what I got from it, which is also what they said.
I think the themes in the movie are big human themes. And to my mind, they're above politics, or as you guys might say, they are upstream maybe of politics. But I wanted to write something about bravery and selflessness and self-reliance and putting others ahead of yourself. Something that I love about the movie is it's not just Isabel's Zoe. If you watch the movie and just look at all the bits of bravery, there is the woman in the cafeteria.
The lunch lady is actually one of my 3 favorite moments in the film.
Yeah, mine too.
It's such a selfless moment. She delivers it very well.
Yeah, and I love her friend outside when she's like, a lot of them don't know. She's like, okay. It's like, what? So you're just going to come with me on this potentially deadly mission. I love that. Like Mr. Rogers would say, look for the helpers. And I think a lot, I believe in the human spirit, and a lot of people are out there ready to be heroic if given the opportunity. So I wanted to highlight that. I mean,
and that just doesn't matter. What I got is just subjective, even if they said so. Some people will not get what I got from the movie, and that's just fine. It doesn't affect writing quality. Something I won't use to judge any movies. That's just how things should be. Oh yeah.
So why stop now? Well, maybe I like to try to throw you off your game.
I know they shot a real deer in the movie, and for that, I do feel kind of upset by it. But that has nothing to do with the film's quality and writing. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. I have to move on. There's also technical aspects of run-high fights that I will briefly discuss. The movie is mostly well acted, especially for Isabel made for her first acting role. The movie does have good direction that conveys the purpose in a single shot, with good use of lighting and the composition of shots to give you a sense of grounded realism, with several tracking shots and long takes to make you engage in the situation more without the need of cutaway. The action scenes are well done, as I mentioned before, and most scenes doesn't have music to convey the realism without the need of telling you how to feel. It's not all perfect. I still don't know what this shot is for. That is supposed to be Tristen talking in the era of lighting in this scene, when the same location before and after this has no light. I still prefer some scenes at the end who have no music for me to listen to, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Overall, the technical aspect is pretty good, especially the budget is 1.5 million. This is pretty impressive. It looks way more expensive, on top of a pretty solid script, which I wish action movies nowadays had a solid script, instead of throwing $200 million on movies with scripts that blow itself apart. Especially most things in the Phase 4 MCU. You absolutely disgust me. There is still a bit of good action movies this year. Nobody, Free Guy, and Dune. But you also got a fuck ton of trash. And this is for both audience and critics. Please really think about what you're watching. And not just, oh my god, pretty colors! It looks so cool! And really actually think about the writing. I don't care do you like or dislike this movie or not. Movie being good or bad should not be judged by those. Same for you critics. Not themes and feelings. I have disagreed with extremes of both sides before. I just want a good movie. And I'm being fair about it. If you want another proof, I'm sick of WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, Black Widow, What If, Shang-Chi. I hate what you did, Disney.
This whole phase isn't a passing of the torch, it's a torching of the past. An era where the writers can't tell the difference between heroes and villains. A fucking Lovecraftian circus of disappointment and disrespect.
And I am not done with you yet. You better wait for it. But as for right now, let me defend Hawkeye, especially Kate Bishop, played by a gorgeous and wonderful Haley Steinfeld. The show so far has its own issues, contrivances, and plot armor. But Kate is done pretty well as a character. One thing people accuse her as, she's a Mary Sue.
Some people have actually called me the world's greatest archer.
No, this girl has failed because of her own mistake. The reason she is good in combat is because of her training, that she fell and get back up. They lived for over a decade. And let's continue after this line.
Some people have actually called me the world's greatest archer.
Look and listen.
Are you one of those people?
Well, one of them is, yes.
I am defending Hawkeye right now. It hasn't sucked yet, and he is being respected. So far. I still have to see how the show will go on, to see it's worth praising at the end. Same as any movie the Daily Wire will do. I don't care what do you think about them and their politics. That has nothing to do with the quality of their movies. No matter it's shot in, or a Gina Carano movie, I just care is it good or bad. And that is how things should be judged. Run Hi-Fi is one of the better action movies this year, finding it to be pretty good for the plot and the main character, despite the abysmal ending. But that doesn't mean it will make the movie bad. It's still just one small part in the entire movie. Bad ending can exist in good movies. Most recent example being Last Night in Soho. I will keep it brief without spoilers, because I do recommend you watch this movie. Everything beforehand is excellent. Develop Ellie's character, with her obsession with Sandy and the past, creating a mystery that holds you from beginning to end, as Ellie becomes mentally crumbled from it, taking and following it way too far. Until how it ends. Plot holes that contradict the setup, plot armors to save the character, and smash how morality works. But I still call that a great movie from everything beforehand. Same as Run High Fight. It is definitely not as great, but it's pretty good in its own right. That's my take for it, with the way the movie should be judged, in terms of writing. About talking about this movie, I don't wanna go, but the chapter ends already. I have to let go. But my media-long reviewing journey just began, as I see you all for the next adventure.
This has been great, guys!
Really? Thanks for the good time.
Okay, this morning I had this crazy dream where we danced through the halls at school.
Dance?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. We did this sort of thing. Yeah,
But you tell me